Press the buttons, make that happen. That's happening. Lovely cup of tea. Ready to go. Hi, Mug Club members, subscribers, members, everyone. Members of the 13th. Oh. Corn sugar. Milk first. Guard. +1 internet point if you can name that theme tune. I'll do it again. Dung, 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 dung. Clue for you. It involves a genetically engineered super soldier going up against aliens. Halo! Blood Buffalo coming in with the correct answer. Hi, Sasha V, Andy H, Killer Creeksman, Matt Banks, Danny D, Red Richmond, Jackus Woods all the way from France. Hi, welcome to this week's Tuesday Talkie Tuesday live stream evening Wolfbook Chronicles, aka Stylus. Welcome to this week's and Mahoney. Hi everyone. Hi. Strap yourself in. Grab yourself a cup of tea. Hi Sackhoff from Chicago. We've got America in the house. Well, we've got Buffalo in the house as well as Sackhoff. Strap yourselves in. Grab yourself a lovely cup of tea. If you're in America, a handgun. I don't know. Let's talk Guard. Let's talk all things Four Pillars Gaming is from the Pacific Northwest of USA. So like Utah, probably a Mormon or something. I don't know. Yes. Hi guys. No, there's no commissar costume. I don't have a commissar costume. But yeah, that would be cosplay. Me cosplaying. I've got other hobbies to keep me occupied. Yes, strap yourself in. We've got the codex. Pardon me. We're going to be doing all things. So if you have questions, I don't know. They're in the Northwest, aren't they? The Mormons. I don't know. Washington State. That's the Northwest as well. West Coast, Best Coast. Except for the bits that are on fire. Sympathies and salutations to everyone who's been affected by the fires in California. Absolutely horrifying to see that on the news. Normally it's Australia that's on fire or underwater, but now West Coast of America. So terrible, terrible stuff. Yeah. But moving on. And Grim Ducks in Scotland. I'm sorry to hear that. There's probably one place worse than Scotland, and that's Swindon. But yes, we've got the Guard Codex. So if you guys have any Guard related questions, I'm here to answer them. Any detachment questions, any datasheet questions, any things like that, we can have a flip through. One of the things that I wanted to shout out, we've got to figure out how to get to the Guard back. Yeah. One of the things that I thought was quite interesting about this book, I need to do a short on it really, is like in the past, when you opened it up, right, you get to the regiment section. Where are the regiments? Here's the regiment section, like Armageddon, Steel Legion, and then Mordian Iron Guard, the Talan, Desert Raiders, Catachans, Valhallans, the regiment section. It talks about all the things. And Cadia. Cadia's just there on a little bit there. It always used to be Cadia and pages and pages and pages of Cadia, right? Pages of Cadia. But I'm sorry to tell you that Cadia does not stand. And across the battlefields of the 41st millennium, instead of the Cadians everywhere, it's going to be Krieg, more Krieg, more Krieg, more Krieg. Krieg is filling up the Guard Codex. Krieg is the way forward. It used to be Cadia, but Cadia does not stand. Oh, it didn't break. It's fine down there. Cadia sits. Have Earthshaker Medusa Carriages data sheets changed? Okay. I also, with me, have my reading glasses, my eyeglasses. Medusa. Good question. Gotta love the deathcore. Katie, what have Earthshaker Medusa carriages changed? Hang about. I'm here to serve. I've got to find them. We have Death Strikes, we have Hellhounds, we have the Basilisks, Hydras. Earthshaker Medusa carriages. Okay, in the artillery section, we have Basilisks, Hydras, Manticores, Wyverns, and Death Strikes. Yeah, so I'm assuming by Earthshaker Cannon, you mean Basilisk, and the Earthshaker Cannon is 240-inch range, blast, indirect fire, D6 plus 3 shots, strength 8 minus 2, 2 damage. Earthshaker rounds, if you get hit by something, you're shaken, subtract 2 to its move, and advance and charge rolls. I think Basilisks have remained the same. But the carriage things, as someone has pointed out, is definitely a Forge World thing. The Forge World doesn't exist anymore. It's like a Legends thing. It's not in here. It's in the Blood Buffalo. Thank you for your donation. I appreciate you. GG's in the chat for Blood Buffalo, please. GG's all round. Blood Buffalo was 10th end of day 1 at 60. You were 10th. At end of day 1, 64-person GT with my guard. Skip day 2 to watch our Lord and Saviour Josh Allen. Is there any new way to play Attilian Rough Riders? So, yeah, Josh Allen versus Denver Broncos. For a moment there, because I quite like the Denver Broncos, for a moment there at the beginning I thought, ooh, and then, Josh Allen. But yeah, well done. GG's, thank you, GG's. Attilian Rough Riders, is there any new ways to play them? Well, I'm sure you've seen my detachment breakdown, where I mentioned the 5 detachments that are in the Guard Codex: Combined Arms, Siege Regiment, Mechanized Assault, Hammer of the Emperor, and Recon Element. So, not particularly, but I would say that Attilian Rough Riders are better than Death Corps, because the Attilian Rough Riders have access to the Hunting Lance, as we know. Hunting Lance. And the Hunting Lance, the Melter effect is 1 attack, hits on a 3, strength 9, minus 4 d6 damage. So they go charging in. And at least they've got a strength 9, minus 4 d6 damage attack. Whereas the Death Riders, basically you're looking at Power Sabers all the time, which is strength 4, minus 2, 1 damage. Death Riders, really. I was really expecting the Death Riders. Death Riders, this is what they do. Once per turn, when an enemy unit ends a normal advance or fallback move within 9 inches of the unit, if they're not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, they can make a normal move up to 6. So if the enemy get within 9, they can move 6 inches, but their toughness 4 with a 4-up save and 2 wounds. And they're not that stabby. They've got a Power Saber, 3 attacks, strength 4, minus 2, 1 damage. And then the Steed's got 2 extra attacks, strength 4, minus 1, 1 damage. But that one hits on 4, so they've got 5 attacks. So they're not that killy. I see Death Riders becoming in units of 5 or 10 more as move blocking units rather than actual killy units, unless you put Lord Marshal Dreer with them. And then Lord Marshal Dreer gives them devastating wounds when they charge. So you could run Death Riders as a big unit of 10 with Dreer, devastating wounds. Is quite a chunky one considering they have 5 attacks. Well, the horse has 2 and they have 3. You could do some damage with that, but not a lot of damage. Attilian Rough Riders are just better. I don't know why they didn't give the Hunting Lance to the Death Corps, particularly as the Death Riders are the brand new thing. You'd think they'd give them to the Death Corps, because normally the newest thing that comes out is Hella Broken, right? But 10 Death Riders, only 120 points. And then, what's his name? Lord Marshal Dreer. Lord Marshal Dreer, 80 points. So it's 200 points for Lord Marshal Dreer, with 10 of them, with devastating wounds. That could be a thing. Grimdark! GG's in the chat for Grimdark, please. Grimdark, thank you for gifting a membership. If you did receive a membership, then that's tier 2 membership, which gives you access to the Discord. Jump in, say hi to the community. The water is warm. Everyone is nice and friendly in there. And you may consider upgrading your membership for £1 more. And then you get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday. There's one coming out tomorrow, and it's a Horus Heresy one. Where are we in the chat? Also, New Marshal is wicked. Not a problem, mate. Enjoy. No, yes, thank you. GG's. Yes, the New Marshal. Well, he also gets back up again, doesn't he? When he dies, he gets back up again. On a 2-up, he gets back up again. But he's toughness 4 with a 4-up save and 4 wounds. So, toughness 4 with a 4-up save, 4-up save, 4-up invulnerable and 6 wounds. He's relatively killy in close combat. His saber has got anti-infantry 4-up, 6 attacks, weapon skill 2, anti-infantry 4-up, at -2, 1 damage. He can give up to 3 orders to regiment units as well, and that'll be within 6-inch range, because it says on the thing like how many orders they can give now. So he is shouting out lots of orders all over the place. Heard a way to give the Dawn tank commander feel no pain. Yes. In the Hammer of the Emperor detachment, there is indomitable chat. How do you say that word? Steed. Something steed. See the steed. How does it focus? Focus. Basically, in Hammer of the Emperor, you can give your tank commander a 6-up feel no pain. 6-up feel no pain. Servo Skull gifted a membership. GG's in the chat for a Servo Skull, please. GG's in the chat. Have to admit, the new codex makes me want to have a game of 40k again. The new codex. I've been sitting on the guard for a while. Like, I've got to bring the guard to the table. I've got some of the traitor guard there. I've got some scions. I've got some Valkyries. I've got some Vendettas. You saw the Basilisk and Baneblade and the tanks at the weekend in the battle report. I've got enough to bring some kind of variable looks guard, mainly tanks, and some. I've got enough to show a couple of different looks of the guard, and this book made me want to play guard, which is, it's a good book then, right? It's a good book. Indom We'll definitely have 30 Death Riders and a 5-man Command Riders as a detachment with tank artillery. Yeah. Indomitable. 5-man Command Riders. Our 5-man Command Riders are a thing. So what you've got in the command section is Lord Solar Leonidas, Ursula Creed, Cadian Castellan, Cadian Command Squad, a Krieg Command Squad, that's interesting, Lord Marshal Dreer of the Krieg, and a Catachan Command Squad, and then Sly Marbo, and then the tank commanders, the Lehman Russ tank commander, the Rogal Dawn tank commander, and then the individual things like Primera Psychers and Lord Dale Dog. There isn't, when you say a 5-man Command Riders as a detachment, have 30 Death Riders and a 5-man, there isn't a command squad on horses. When Sly Marbo installs Windows, Microsoft accepts his terms and conditions. Nice. Sly Marbo, basically, you know, like Colonel Ironhand Strachan isn't in here anymore, and a couple of the OG characters aren't in here anymore. I heard that Sly Marbo was going to be booted to legend as well, but Sly Marbo ambushed the rules writers on the way to the legends pile and killed them all. So he's in the book, you know. Are Gaunt's Ghosts a thing in here? Yes, Gaunt's Ghosts are a thing in here. That's the Gaunt's Ghosts data sheet. Gaunt's Ghosts consist of where are we? Gaunt Ghosts consists of Ibram Gaunt, who's an epic hero with 5 Tanith ghosts, which you get in the book. In the box, Gaunt's Ghosts for those 6 models are 100 points. Gaunt himself has 2 wounds. Everyone else has 3. Gaunt's Ghost has 3 wounds. Everyone else has 2 wounds, and they will have a 5-up invulnerable save. And they will have their different weapons, like Larkin has the long knife. Bragg has an auto cannon. They have Tanith Camo Cloaks. Models in this unit always have the benefit of cover, Gaunt's Ghosts, and Covert Stealth Team. At the start of your end of your opponent's turn, if this unit is not within engagement range of one or more enemy units, you can remove it from the battlefield, and in the reinforcement step of your next movement phase, you can stick it back on the battlefield anywhere that's more than 9 inches horizontally away from any models. So remove at the end of your opponent's turn and put them back in. And it's not within it's not a strategic redeploy. It's anywhere on the battlefield. So you could deploy Gaunt's Ghost in turn 1, and if you go in second or first or whatever, you deploy Gaunt's Ghost right in the corner in your deployment zone, nice and safe, and doing that and drinking tea and Sacra, drinking a few rounds of Sacra. And then at the end of first turn, you could pick them up and literally put them in your opponent's deployment zone, because it's not a strategic reserve thing where you're normally not allowed to come into your opponent's deployment zone. So you could bring them in that way to get behind enemy lines, engage on all fronts, those kind of secondaries, that sort of thing. Stay there. Do not move. Sticky things moving off wall. So yeah, 100 points to have a redeploy thing that has cover all the time. I wish they'd just had stealth. Do they have stealth as well? They have stealth. They have fights for 100 points. I didn't even read this bit. So as well as having cover all the time, they have fights first, they have infiltrators, they have lone operative, and they have stealth. It's a unit with lone operative and stealth. So Gaunt's Ghost you can't target if you're more than 12 inches away. You know that thing where they changed to say that you can target units? You can't target units. If there's a strat or an enhancement or a thing that says you can't target units if you're more than 12 inches away, they've changed that to say it only works if you're more than 18 inches away, because 12 inches is a bit broken. That's for strats and enhancements and things like that. But lone operatives, the rule lone operatives, where you can't target unless you're within 12, still stands. That one still stands. It's not 18, it's 12. So they've got 12 and stealth and cover all the time and a redeploy for 100 points. I wish there was more of them. Like, you know, we've got like a Catachan unit and a Death Corps unit and a Cadian unit. There should also be in here, and I hope it's coming. I hope it's coming. A Talan unit, Valhallan Ice Warriors unit, Steel Legion unit, and normal Gaunt's Ghosts squads as well. Tanith squads or Belladons or whatever it might be. The Verven Hive as well. Hi, people. Hi, Pierre. Evening Pickle Nick. A up, Adam San. Can Gaunt's Ghost take tread feathers? No, they just come with so it's a small unit, Gaunt and 5 dudes, and they take what they've got in the box. A Tanith kill team, yeah. Bring back the Iron Guard. Ayo, hello. Starting with my guard army over the next few months, so interested in all this. Nice, yes. The combined arms standard detachment for the guard, still strong. Still some very interesting strats in there. The book is... The thing about this book is, in the past, you had to bring Orcadians, or you had to bring Catachans, or you had to bring da-da-da-da. And some guard players loved that, but that's gone. Now it's, you can bring Catachans, Cadians, and Krieg all to get. You can bring a unit of that, unit of that, unit of that. You can mix and match, which is also a guard thing. Combined regiments is a guard thing. Combined arms is a guard thing. And that's always been around as well. And those guard players out there that just want to build just Krieg armies are still building just Krieg armies. Those guard players out there that just want to build Cadian armies, like Mordy and John contacted me, showed me he's got... you can still build a whole Cadian army as well. So I'd say there's more variety in this one than I've seen in guard books before. Yeah. I assume plastic stay in stock more than resin. Yes, it does. I think there'll be an influx of guard players as well. I love the new Krieg models, but oh lord, I'm going to have to get a lot of Kriegsmen. Yes, so the Kriegsmen... Get back! Where are you? I don't know where Kill team. Basically, if you want to start a Krieg army, the normal Kriegs are the kill team ones, and they come in boxes of 10. So you buy... See, I don't know if you need a lot of Kriegsmen. If I was doing it, I would buy... I mean, Krieg is the new hot, and Krieg is so cool. Krieg started in Forge World, and it's so cool that it rolled across into 40k, and now Krieg is like the main army now for 40k Guard. That's how cool they are. People love Krieg. People love the Siege of Frax. I love Krieg. I love the Siege of Frax. They want to die. They want to show the only way to get to heaven. They're like Vikings, right? One of the reasons why Vikings were so absolutely terrifying is because Vikings believed the only way that they could get to Valhalla, like the highest spot in there. I don't know enough about all the Viking gods and all the Viking heavens, or even if there was many heavens, but I do know, because I saw it on the internet, and the internet never lies, that the reason why the Vikings were so fearless in battle is because they wanted to die in battle, because then if they died heroically in battle, they got to sit at the right hand of Zeus or Odin or Thor or whoever it was, him, the big cheese. That's they were like, yes, you know. And Krieg are a bit like that as well. They want to die, they want to sacrifice themselves in battle, and then they can sit down and have tea and biscuits with the Emperor in the Emperor heaven. And that's just that cult of sacrifice that the Krieg have is so grimdark. So if I was doing it now, 4 squads of Krieg infantry, and then some heavy weapon teams and some mortars, and then some tanks, right? Start there. And apart from the command squad and the Krieg infantry, I don't think you need more than that. Because tanks and artillery, maybe a few walkers. I mean, what's not to love? It's got tanks in it. It's got tanks. Killer Kriegsman said he's at 300. I think that's the magic number. You're at 300. The 300. I'm hoping that they'll make a Christmas box with a bunch of the new models and the imagery. Yes. Hello, Equos. The days of 200 troops on the table are long gone. I think not necessarily a bad thing, though. I agree with you, Benedict Jones. There were times where you brought your infantry platoon and you could blob it up as a 50-man squad with the platoon command squad in it and a commissar to give them stubborn. And so they didn't go anywhere. And people tended not to bring 2 big squads of 50, but what people would do would bring a big squad. I mean, back in 6th and... there was 2 ways to run Guard way back in the day, and one was with loads of vets. You brought loads of vets, tanks and artillery, and all the vets had plasmas, because plasmas kill Space Marines. And you'd have vets zipping up the Chimera Rush, and they'd have demo charges. And plasma vets were a thing, backed up by artillery and tanks. The other way to run Guard was either 2 big blobs of like 40 with a commissar in it, or 3 blobs of 30, 30, 30 with commissars in it, and then just so like 30, 30, 30 plus the platoon command squads as well. You could easily top out 100 infantry without breaking sweat. Saw lists, my mate Alex would run them all the time, 120, 130 infantry in it. Just blob up and gum up everything was definitely a viable tactic. That gone is not necessarily a bad thing. It wasn't that fun to play against, and it wasn't honestly that fun to play with. Alex much preferred running Guard vet units instead, because they did more stuff. Chimera rushes and Valkyrie rushes, or Vendetta rushes, because it had more maneuverability. You had more to do as a commander, instead of just going, here's all my Guard, here's my lines and lines and lines of ranks that you can't break through. Here are my tanks behind it and my artillery behind it. And you basically tried to break your way through all the infantry to get to the tanks behind. And if you didn't, you lost. Or you brought some guns to try and outshoot over the heads of the infantry to kill the tanks and the artillery behind. Otherwise, you're lost. But what would happen was the Guard could outshoot you because they had more tanks and artillery than you. Because they could squadron up the tanks and squadron up their artillery, and you were Space Marines or Xenos. You didn't have access to squadrons. It was a Guard thing. So those days are long behind us. Now we have much more of a combined arms approach with a lot more ways to play the game, which isn't a bad idea. I mean, we're a long way from where we were, but this has got some. It's a good book. It's a good book. Let's jump into the chat and see what the chat is saying. The win condition was getting your movement phase and your opponent. Yeah, it was getting to your movement phase and your opponent conceding. You were like, boom, and you would flood, and that was it. The box brings my Death Riders to 60, lol. So, Killer Kriegsman, you're at 300 infantry on foot and 60 riders. Evening pointy paints. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. Is there a list there where battle line units Krieg, so you could go 60 Krieg infantry units, and then the Death Riders, you could bring 30 of them with Dreer. 60 and 30. I mean, there's a list there, just in sheer numbers. And then some Krieg heavy weapon teams and some flankiness. Sentinels, I don't know, something. There's a list there. There is a list. Quantity of its quality all of its own, right? Just bring a lot of stuff. What else we got? The artillery detachment really leans to horde infantry. Yes. So the siege regiment detachment in this book doesn't have any siege equipment in it. It's the creeping barrage. You can either pin stuff in place, slow stuff down, or remove cover from it, or give yourself stealth, some units stealth. That's what you do, because the guns are way away over the horizon. That's the siege regiment one. And then all the strats in it are like infantry officers, things like that. It's really got the idea of mass numbers of infantry moving up under a curtain barrage of fire. You know what I mean? You can take squads of up to 20 guardsmen, so total you can take 120 max. One minute. Krieg combat engineers can come into units of 5 to 10. Jungle fighters. Jungle fighters can come in up to squads of 20. Death Corps of Krieg can come in squads of up to 20. Cadians can come in squads of up to 20. How did I miss that? Well, you learned something. You're right. They can all come in squads of up to 20. Obviously, Kazakin and engineers and the Tempestus Scions and Tempestus Aquilans obviously coming up to squads of 10, but 20 a pop. You bring 120 of them. How many is it for 20 Krieg Guard? Krieg. What are they literally called? They're called Death Corps of Krieg. Because you've got to do it in alphabetical order. Death Corps. 120 points for 20. 120 points for 20. So that times 6 is about 1,000 points. Hi, Weasel. Weasel, all the way from Switzerland. He was here the other day. He flew all the way from Switzerland to London, walked around London a bit, went to the Imperial War Museum, which I do recommend anyone who comes, jumped on a train, came here, had a game of 40k, went back to London, flew back to Switzerland. That was it. What a Chad. Going and coming all this distance just to fight me. And he brought over some really nice Swiss biscuits. And the Matador ones, they're very good. Very good. I recommended hobnobs, chocolate-coated hobnobs to him. And if I'd have thought about it beforehand, I'd have had a packet of chocolate-coated hobnobs to give him. Because he got to my house and he had Swiss biscuits. And I thought, that's really kind, really generous, thank you. And they're very tasty. And he obviously thought ahead, and I didn't. And I should have had some hobnobs. But he does like the hobnobs because I told him to go, buy the hobnobs, get the hobnobs. They're a tear sensation. I've heard rumours that there's going to be a day one errata for the codex, so Krieg might get bumped up in points again. The points in here, I did check the points in here versus the latest points online when you go to the Warhammer community thing. And all the ones that I checked, I didn't go through every single unit, but all the ones I checked are the same. So when it comes out, bear in mind that the LVO is around the same end, like this weekend, and that there was that other major GT in Nottingham, like that 600 player one. And then there was a GT at Warhammer World last weekend, and that was like a 90 player one. There might be some points changes. There might be some tweaks. There is definitely going to be a day one errata to answer some. There's a few points in here. What army did Weasel use? Demons. Many demons. So there's probably going to be a day one errata. I think we had that with the last codex as well, just to tidy some stuff up. But day one errata is fine. 3 Earthshakers, 3 Armageddon Battalists, 3 heavy mortars, about 16 heavy weapons team. That's my heavy support. Yeah. I mean, Killer Kriegsman, with that number of infantry and that number of Death Riders, you're doing combined arms. You're doing the one that we've been all playing since 10th edition launched anyway. And the reason why you're doing that one is because it's solid. It is good. And the stratagems that are in it are good. And you've got the reinforcement strat, which is good. What's the Krieg Command Squad data sheet like? Krieg Command Squad data sheet. Krieg Command Squad data sheet. A Krieg Command Squad is 65 points for 6 models. They come with the Lord Commissar and 5 veteran guardsmen. So Lord Commissar is in charge. Grim Determination. While this unit contains an officer, you can target this unit with stratagems even while it's battle shocked. And orders issued to this unit do not cease to affect this unit if it becomes battle shocked. Okay, so Grim Determination. It doesn't matter whether they're battle shocked or not. They can issue and receive orders. The officer can issue 1 order to regiment units. And then you've got Master Vox. You've got the Medic for a 6-up feel no pain. You've got a regimental standard for +1 OC. You've got Servo Scribe, so once per battle when issuing an order, the Lord Commissar can issue an additional order. And that's pretty much it. I mean, they've got Las Pistol. You know how it goes. It's the Commissar with a bunch of veterans, and 1 veteran guardsman can switch his gun to a flamer, grenade launcher, melter gun, plasma gun. So you're going to do that. The Lord Commissar power weapon can be replaced with a power fist. So you're going to do that. You're going to give him a power fist, plasma pistol combo. 1 veteran guardsman can get a trench club. We'll do that. And 1 veteran guardsman can be given a plasma pistol. So you're going to get that. So you can have a couple of plasma pistols in there and a melter gun in there. And yes. That's what you're going to do. And you're going to attach him to a Death Corps of Krieg or Krieg Combat Engineers unit. For 65 points, always issuing orders, regardless of whether they're battle shocked, chucking in a bunch of plasmas in there. Solid. They're a solid choice. Demons. 6 models instead of 5 triggers my OCD. Well, it's got a Lord Commissar and 5 veteran guardsmen. It's interesting, isn't it? Because the commander in the Krieg Command Squad is a Commissar, whereas in the Cadian Command Squad, it's a Cadian Commander and 4 vets. Cadian Commander, 4 vets. In the Krieg Squad, Commissar, 5 vets. The Commissar's in there to stop them running forward into the line of fire, holding them back a little bit. Not yet, lads. Sacrifice yourself in a minute. Krieg Command Squad, 6 guys. Yeah. No idea when that's coming out, but it's coming out like the Krieg Heavy Weapon Squads. Mind you, most Krieg players out there, like Killer Kriegsman, has probably got 5 Krieg Command Squads already and 5 Krieg Heavy Weapon teams. But we've got... It's a good day to be a Krieg lover. It's a good day to be a Krieg lover. The Cadians, their planet, it's not looking too good at the moment. It's not looking too good. And so... the war machine that is Krieg is... Do you guys appreciate that? Do we know if the Krieg Marshal is still valid? It's not. The Krieg Marshal is not in this book. He'll probably be a Legend's Choice. I'm bringing Guard, Solar Auxilia to King in the North. Nice. Not a single special weapon or heavy weapons team in there. Nice. Yeah, I'll see you at King in the North on the 25th, Saturday the 25th. And anyone else in the chat or anyone else in the VOD squad who's watching this after the stream, catch you at King in the North on the 25th. I've still got no idea what I'm bringing to King in the North. I'll think about that another day. Have you talked about the Death Riders datasheet? Yes, I have. I can talk about it again. But essentially, the main thing I said was Atalan Rough Riders are better than Death Riders. Both Atalan Rough Riders and Death Riders are toughness 4 with a 4-up save and 2 wounds. And I would have hoped that the Death Riders had some kind of feel no pain, but they don't have a feel no pain. So Death Riders are just as killy as Atalan Rough Riders. Death Riders' special ability is if you move within 9 of them, they can make an extra move. Atalan Rough Riders they can shoot and charge in the turn in which they fall back. So Atalan Rough Riders are just better because they have their hunting lances. They can go in at strength 9, AP -4, boom, D6 damage. When you've got 10 of them going in there, that's 10 times D6 damage. And then any that are still locked up at the end can fall back and charge. Atalan Rough Riders are good. Death Riders, on the other hand, just have lots and lots of saber attacks. The way to make them good is to put Dreer in there, which gives them more devastating wounds. And they have Lance. Yeah, Atalan Rough Riders, Lance as well. Death Riders just have power sabers. Lots and lots of power sabers. 1 company command, 2 normal command squads. Yep, I knew you'd have a bunch. Lance is very underrated. It is very underrated. Lance, so is Toby and Bob. Toby, Bob and Lance are all very underrated. Yeah. But, yeah, what was I going to say? It's interesting, isn't it? Because across the battlefields of Terra, there were Cadians. Lots and lots of Cadians. And now Cadia has fallen. Across the battlefields of Terra, there's going to be lots and lots of Krieg rolling out everywhere. It's interesting how it's mirrored, you know, down here on Earth. I've got the 7th edition Imperial... Oh, man. Imperial Armor books. They don't make books like that anymore, do they? They don't make books like that anymore. Those poor Canadians. I know, right? If you guys, by the way, are looking for a good standalone book on Audible or to read, a good book, The Fall of Cadia, that book is one of the top. It's in the top tier. It's S tier. It's one of the top tier standalone Warhammer 40k novels. The Fall of Cadia. I'm not afraid to admit that by the end of that book, the Fall of Cadia book, there was a few man tears going on. I mean, it's like the Titanic. You know what happens at the end of the movie? It sinks, right? You know what happens. And there was definitely room on that thing for Leonardo as well. Leonardo could have got on there as well. There was definitely room for him. But Rose... Cadia Stands was a good standalone book too. You're the first person to ever say that in the history of ever. So I'm glad you liked it. Is there any lore about gathering chunks of Cadia up as relics, sort of like... No, there isn't. One of the things they've stopped doing, I've noticed, in the 10th edition books, is they've stopped moving the lore forward, and there isn't any new lore in here. So in some books you get... In every single codex, in every single edition, you always get a little bit more lore, a little bit more. They push the timeline. In 10th edition, half of the books don't do that anymore. Don't add new lore. Some of the books do. Some of the books do turn up with a thing. Oh, that's different. That's new. That's interesting. But it used to be a feature. I used to always get the new books and then get to the end first. The end of the lore section first. The last couple of paragraphs or the timeline bit or on the last page, there'd be something juicy. But that's gone. Have you checked out the Crusade rules? No. Who plays Crusade? Who plays Crusade? Does anyone in the chat play Crusade? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? Death had a lump in my throat when Argyltar realised what he had done. What? Um, I've heard that they're going back to Cadia in a new animation, which is weird. I thought what's left of Cadia is a demon world now. Well, yeah, it blew up. So it cracked apart. It didn't blow up. There was a Blackstone fortress. There was the dome, the gates though. See the gates, the Necron gates on it. And then Belisarius Call was there. There were some Necrons there. There's some weird stuff. It's the Cadian Gate, right? So Necron, there's probably bits floating around in space. And sure, I mean, the Rock, the Dark Angel's Fortress Monastery is floating around in space. It's not a new idea. I used to play Crusade. Exactly, I used to play it, but no one plays it now. No one plays Crusade. Crusade adds bookkeeping, the worst way to do narrative. GW went the wrong way. I agree, Blood Buffalo. Yeah, I think it's like The Rock, a big bit with a castle on it. Exactly, that's what it is. It's a big bit with a castle on it. I think we've got a bit of Cadia floating around up there. But yeah, Crusade. I mean, narrative players by design play less 40k than other people play 40k, right? Because competitive players like, if you're a narrative player, you're probably, you're not playing it every week or 3 times a week or 5 times a week. You're building your army together. You've got an idea with your friends, and then you're going to play this thing through. So you're not reinforcing the rules again and again and again and again and again in your brain like someone who plays competitively. And then on top of that, you'll learn more rules. The Crusade, they don't know what they're doing with Crusade. They don't know who. They thought it was the biggest thing, you know. I remember speaking to some people up at Games Workshop at the time when the Crusade thing started happening. And they were convinced. They were convinced that Crusade was going to be the new biggest thing. They were like, oh my God, it's going to be amazing. That we've come up with this new system. It's amazing. People are going to love it. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. Yeah. I don't know if they know their audience as well as we know their audience. Switch from Crusade to Horus Heresy. Can create your own narrative. Exactly. What narrative gamers want, what Crusade should be. Here's the thing, in 9th edition as well, when they released the first Crusade supplement, it was Pariah Nexus. I don't know if you remember that. It was in little books, like they were this sort of size with bindings on, right? They weren't big books like that. They were little books. And the Pariah Nexus Crusade book had 2 pages of narrative in it. This is a narrative Crusade. This is it had 2 pages, and the rest was all rules, all maps. They don't know who their audience is. What they should do, releasing narrative supplements, is shouldn't have very many rules in it. It should have It should be like the Imperial Armor books with lots of narrative, lots of stories, lots of maps. We like maps, lots of images, lots of fertile ground. So narrative creative people pick it up and open it, and ideas start bubbling up. Like, oh, that's really cool. Like Siege of Vrax. People are still doing YouTube videos about Siege of Vrax today. Check out Luton's recent one. It's amazing. But, I mean, it should be something to get your juices flowing. And the rules in it should be about the missions themselves. Here are some missions that you can play, a la Planet Strike, a la City Fight, those sort of things. Here's a couple of rules if you're fighting in a city. Here's a couple of rules if you're doing a Planet Strike. Here's a couple of tweaks for a couple of things, for a couple of missions, and a couple of rules in order to link the missions. And that's it. Keep it sparse and then let the player enjoy the narrative anyway, you know what I mean. My problem with Crusade is that you need dedicated opponents to keep up with you. If you're gaining experience fighting someone who just started and there's no upgrades or experience, seems rough. Boom, there you go. You need someone to do it again and again and again, and you need that. Yeah, it's not something you can dip in and dip out of. They wanted it to be in D&D 40k. Forgetting 40k rule books are longer than the Bible. Exactly. I got what I did to be able to play 5, 10k Apocalypse. Exactly. Yeah. They wanted it to be, you've got Blood Buffalo, you got a good point there. They wanted it to be D&D meets 40k. That's what they wanted it to be. But D&D is not 40k and 40k isn't D&D. Yeah. So if they release like a book this big and it is a new Pariah Nexus. See, if I was releasing Pariah Nexus, if I was releasing the Pariah Nexus Crusade, the book would be full of what is going on in the Pariah Nexus. What is going on with Vashtor and Wormwood right in the heart of the Pariah Nexus? What are the Mechanicum doing, unleashing war-crying weaponry against Necrons, weaponry that are shattering stars? What is really going on? We know quite a few bits that are happening in the Pariah Nexus, spread out over a couple of novels and a couple of supplements, but the Pariah Nexus Crusade book would condense it and put it all in there, and it would have a little paragraph at the end or a little page at the end which pushes that narrative forward a little bit as well, and it would be essential reading. Like if we had a Pariah Nexus Crusade book, it would be essential reading, pinning down where 40k is in that part of the world now. And if we had the Leviathan Crusade book, it would be essential. Imagine if there were 5 or 6 or 7 Crusade books out there, and if 40k lore a bit of a mess right now. They would, if you had them all, you'd know exactly what's going on in the galaxy. It would zone in, pin them down. Everyone would understand what the crap is going on, and there'd be lots of lovely pictures and maps and things. Sounds like a case of what if we made a narrative contained system but didn't include any... That's exactly what happened in 9th. That's exactly what happened with the Pariah Nexus. They made a narrative campaign system, and there was 2... I did a video on it. There was 2 pages of narrative in their narrative campaign system. It blew my mind, because as soon as I heard that we're doing a narrative campaign system, and here was the first book coming out, I'm the guy that would film I'm the guy who turn around to Salt and say, this is what we're doing. We're going to the Pariah Nexus. Look at all the lore here. We're going to deep dive. We're going to build up. I'm the YouTube channel which would do that campaign from beginning to... I want to do that sort of crap. But 2 pages of lore. How does that tie me in? And then so many rules upon rules upon rules upon the other rules. We're like, I'm not interested in this whatsoever. So I would be the guy, but they have no idea who their audience is. Whoever wrote that, whoever came up with that idea, the problem with rules writers is they really, really, really like writing rules. And sometimes you think, are they paid for all the rules they write? They write loads of rules. More rules on top of your rules. Rules writers should be paid to remove rules and squeeze down the rules to make the... But instead of 5 things going on with the you could squeeze that down into 2 sentences, and this happens and this happens. Boom, that's a perfect... Anyway, it's not as bad as 9th. It's not... Chat, rein me in. We're here to talk about this. We're here to talk about the Guard. Rein me in. Cities of Death mixed with urban conquest is my unfulfilled wet dream. Exactly. So they release a Crusade book, and it's got lots of pictures of Cities of Death. And it's got lots of maps and lots of top-down satellite images of urban conquest. And it's got a story like Rax in it. It's got something that draws you in. And then at the back, there's 10 different deployment maps, 6 different deployment maps, and 6 different missions. Done. And there's rules for bunkers. There's rules for urban conquest. There's rules for ammo caches and things like that, which you can or cannot use. It's up to you whether you want to put them in there. And rules for close quarter fighting, which you can or cannot use. You put them in there if you want to. And you build your own narrative. But, yeah. Good evening, Tommy. I remember that video. That was right around the time I started watching your videos consistently. Thanks. I love Planetary Assault. I did as well. Loved. Did you know the guy that designed the Reaver Titan also sculpted the Elysian Drop Troops? I didn't know that. The Reaver Titan is just such a good model. They had to write pivot rules because of gaming. Yeah, the pivot rules. Are we talking? It's not always GW's fault that people will abuse the rules. Yes, I know. Games Workshop need to write rules telling people that this is how you... If Games Workshop don't write a rule saying that you're not allowed to... This is how you roll dice. And if they don't write a rule about... What's the way to think about it? Players compared... There are certain people in the player community who'll say, well, I can fire all my guns again. Why do you think you can fire all your guns again? Because it doesn't say I can't. So Games Workshop needs to write rules saying you fire all these weapons once. Otherwise, people try to fire. Oh, you've moved over here, so I'm going to fire it. There are, yes, there's some of that going on. So with a whole new game guide, are you going to buy? I've got a Baneblade. I don't need another Baneblade. The pivot rule is silly. Everyone thinks the pivot rule is silly. I think Boarding Actions was a nice campaign book. Boarding Actions was a nice campaign book. It was a good idea, which came out right at the end of an edition. So if they'd released it a year into an edition and supported it, like here's the Boarding Actions book, and then 6 months later here's a Boarding Actions supplement, and then 6 months later here's some more Boarding Actions terrain with a few bits on here or there, then Boarding Actions. If they'd have sent me the Boarding Actions terrain, I would have filmed some Boarding Actions terrain, but they didn't send me any Boarding Actions stuff. That's why you didn't get any Boarding Actions videos. I'm not buying all the Boarding Actions terrain at the end of an edition to paint up and to... It was right at the end of the edition, so it was... Yes, I knew 10th was coming, and it would be... There was just other distractions. I don't need 5 Blame Blades. The new Boarding Actions book is great too. I've got it down there somewhere. Just got my first Hydra. Nice. You need 2. At least 2. The thing about tanks in the Guard, right? If you get a Hydra, you need 2. If you get a Layman Russ, you need 2. If you get a Rogue Dawn, you need 2. If you get a Death Strike, you need 2. You don't see the issue with pivot rules. That's fine. To each his own. If you don't see the... What I think they should have done is... If they write the rule quite clearly, like if this has got a 12-inch move, then you measure 12 inches away, and then no part of the armor is allowed to go beyond the 12-inch mark. So you can't go like that and swing it like that. No part of the armor is allowed to go further than 12. That's how you write the movement rules. And that's how it's done in Heresy. And then they don't have to even fack it. It's just, that's it. But, now, see the pivot rules as well. Like, if you go that way, like, instead of going straight up, if you go like that, you can still go 12. It's just if you turn, then it's just silly. We won't see the pivot rules in 11th edition. It's a silly edition. Would have been happy with 2 more years of 9th edition. Would have you? You're entitled to your opinion as well. I'd be happy if they didn't change the edition every 3 years. I would like to see a 4-year rotation, because I feel sometimes that 3 years isn't enough. You get your books. Well, it's not me. Everyone knows this. Everyone knows it's the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. That's how Games Workshop function. The next thing, get the next thing, get the next thing, get the next. You don't have time to breathe. Now there's 4 game systems, Heresy and 40k, and AOS and Old World. They could put them on a 4-year rotation, and it give you time to breathe. When you have 2, you might as well get 3. No, 2's enough. Do you think we'll ever get an Apothecary and Terminator armor again? Yeah, I think we will. They'll get there in the end. You have a first Blade. What about your second Blade? Okay, you need 2 of everything except for Bane Blades and super heavy tanks. Just one of them is enough because it's a big one. And they're like 480 points, so 2 of them is 1,000. I'm not impatient for 11th edition. Neither am I, actually. We need 11th to bring back some... We need... see... I feel everything is rushed and sloppy, and I hate everything is rushed and sloppy, and everything always has been rushed and sloppy since. So 7th to 8th, 8th to 9th, 9th to 10th. It's 3 years since 7th edition. 6th to 7th, I think, was 5. It didn't used to rotate so quickly, but a new edition means more money for Games Workshop. More money, more problems. Maybe it could be a 4-year rotation. I just gotten into 9th. Guard and World Eaters came out. Then it was 10th. This is the hobby, same time toys. This is the hobby. What happens is people sometimes just stick with an edition for a couple of editions. There's quite a few people who are still playing 8th. There's quite a few people who are still playing 5th and 2nd. 2nd is popular, 5th is popular, 8th is popular. There's quite a few people still playing those editions. To stay in the hobby and keep up with the hobby, it's almost impossible. What you need is a project, work on a project, nail down that project, and then when you've got that project done, find out what edition you're in and what books, and then play that. And then work on another project. And then when you stick your head up to find out what's going on, you might be in 12th edition and get those books. And then that's how 40k rocks, because they want to sell more shizzle. I don't need 8. 2 tanks, 2 artillery pieces is enough. Super heavy, no. 1 super heavy is more, it's very heavy. Wow, what a difference Heresy 2.0 was rumoured to me in my notes with it. Yeah, where are we? We need 10th to fix 9th and now 11th to fix 10th. That's the thing. I bet we're going to need 12th to fix... Yes. You need the thing to fix the thing to fix the... Yes, that's... It's almost like they break it on purpose. New editions are pushed too fast. Yes. Everyone agrees with you. It would be totally crazy to wait on releasing 8th ed until you have all, at least most of the codex ready. Well, releasing them all together all at once, that's a good idea. A better idea would be to release all the rules for free. Say you paid for the app, and the app has the functionality on it, and the army builder on it, and so you could pay for the app if you want to, or you could just download a bunch of free PDFs, and all the rules are free all the time. That's what I would do. 11th will be completely perfect. I've been thinking of convincing my group to play 8th. The problem is one plays Votan. Just play the edition in front of you. Just play what we've got. This is 40k now. This is it. I think what this edition is missing, it isn't like, oh, we need this to fix that, and we need this to fix that, and this to... Yes, that argument, of course, that we always need the thing to fix the thing, and wouldn't it be good if this and... But there is missing this thing. The thing that this edition is missing is a different way to play, other than the primary, secondaries. We need a different way to play. We need an open war deck. We need a Maelstrom of War deck. Or we need some kind of narrative supplement, some casual play supplement, which has some casual missions in there where you're not doing primary, secondaries. You're doing attack or defend missions, where you're doing get to the other side missions, the kind of OG missions, city fight missions, planetary assault missions, the kind of OG missions that used to exist in all the other editions since time began. There was a reason why they existed in all of the other editions since time began, is because they worked and people liked playing them. But even in the main rulebook, there were 6 core missions that you could play. You didn't have to have all the cards. You can say, I would play that one. We'll play Linebreaker, or we'll play The Relic, or we'll play Big Guns Never Tire. We'll play that one. There were still those missions in the main. In this edition, one mission in the main rulebook. I think if there were more ways to play than just primary, secondary, competitive, that would solve some problems. Because then you could work on your project, and then you could do with your mates, right? We'll do the attack defend thing, or we'll do the thing and the thing. I'm ranting this evening, guys. I'm ranting. I'm going to lock in. We're going to talk to chat more. I'm going to lock in. 11th is one of the Yes, I have 5 Blame Blades. 2 are plasma. 1 Bane Blade is enough. Kill a Kriegsman. I love narrative play, but I can't bother to do any kind of game design, so it's literally going to be broken in the end. I can't bother. Pariah Nexus gives everyone a chance to win at least. I'm not saying Pariah Nexus is bad. I'm not saying Leviathan is bad. I'm not saying primary, secondaries. Competitive 40k is fun. I enjoy it. The one coming up on Sunday is a very competitive game with Wraith Raider, and he does tournaments a lot. And he was coming down, and we filmed the game, and I told him to bring a sweaty list, and I bring a sweaty list, and that's coming up on Sunday. And I enjoy playing sweaty 40k sometimes. I won this trophy once. It's good fun. It gives everyone the staggered point scoring 40k is more tight. It's good. It doesn't have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be that or that. It can be that and that. I mean, my thing, it's good to let it out. Okay, I'll let it out. Like Call of Duty, for example, one of the most successful game franchises in the world ever. You buy Call of Duty and you can play, this is one engine, okay? So one rule set, 40k rule set, boom, one engine. And you can play single player, you can play multiplayer, you can play zombies, you can play Warzone, you can play ranked, CDL, search and destroy, dominate. There's lots of different ways of playing that. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Many ways of playing. 40k, in my humble opinion, should have one engine. And off the back of that engine, there should be multiple ways to play. There should be a tournament pack and tournament missions. There should be narrative pack and narrative missions, not Crusade, where here's more rules on top of your rules and no. Here's just some narrative missions or casual missions. A casual mission pack, a narrative mission pack for those people less inclined to play sweaty tournament play. And in the main rulebook, there should be a minimum 6 missions, a minimum 6 standard ways to play 40k for newcomers. So you pick up the game, you play a bit of combat patrol as you get your armies together, and then you look into the main rulebook and you go, oh, Big Guns Never Tire, or The Relic, or something like that. It doesn't have to be one way or another. There can be multiple ways to play Warhammer 40k, and that's what this edition is missing, in my opinion. What do you think? Let's get to the chat. I'm ranting. I am ranting, chat. Back to the guard stuff then. When is the 13th Militarum coming to the channel? Maybe the latest video versus 10. I may have rolled some of the 13th Militarum into my Traitor Guard force, and I might be doing it that way. I've also heard that you're supposed to be nag about. Yeah, I mean, that's how it works. As a 40k player, you're supposed to complain about 40k. You're absolutely right, AO. As a 40k player, if you're not complaining about the state of the game, you're not really a 40k player. Hi, Mark. All the way from Australia. How is the land down under? Are you drowning or on fire like you normally are? Are you hanging on upside down on the edge of the world? Like, no. I heard Australia doesn't exist either. The internet says Australia didn't exist. Does it exist? I'm not sure it exists. I know Hobbiton exists in the Shire, but that's in New Zealand. And New Zealand is clearly much better than Australia. I've never seen on the news it catch fire or drown, and they filmed Lord of the Rings there. So New Zealand is clearly, I mean, in the tier list, New Zealand is up there with like Switzerland and Sweden and other countries beginning with S. Australia, though, starts with arse. Australia. It's got to be as bad as Swindon, really. I mean, if you get bitten If you get bitten by a spider, you're probably in if you get bitten by anything poisonous, you're in Australia, right? It all wants to kill you. Hell, I don't even play and I'm willing to complain. Exaculus. Hi, the Dagda. Fabulous to you too. Hi, Mark Davis. Huge fan. Lol. Weather here today. Overcast and cool for a change because it's summer down there, isn't it? Have you played any more Guard than the game on the YouTube channel? Yes, 2 more. I've played 2 more other than the game on the YouTube channel, and one of them I filmed. About 25% of the games I play, I don't even film. I love this hobby, and 1 in 4 games, I'm still playing. I'm still, despite all the stuff, like there's one coming out every single Sunday, and there's a battle report comes out every single Wednesday for channel members, tier 3 channel members as well. That's 2 a week, every week. And I'm still playing more. And I'm not filming a third to a quarter. It's not a half, but a third to the quarter games that I play, I don't even film because I love this hobby and I just keep playing and playing and playing and playing. And so, yeah, I played one which I didn't film, and that was against the Drukhari Harlequin detachment that came out over Christmas. It didn't end well for the Drukhari Harlequin detachment. And I filmed another one with tanks. Yeah, with Weasel, with demons. Tanks versus demons. And that one's coming out, I don't know when. A couple of weeks. A week. I film up to 2 weeks in advance. But yeah, I've played a few times. It was fun. I'm enjoying tanks. I think if you get a tank, you need 2 tanks. If you get an artillery piece, you need 2 artilleries. If you get a sentinel, you need 2 sentinels. But 1 Baneblade is enough. And 1 big tank. It's just fun having 1 really big tank. There's something about the 8-year-old kid in me that comes out. It's like, tanks. Tanks go boom. You know what I mean? I get why Guard players have a smile on their face most of the time. Because they get to play with tanks. I finally have my first Horus Heresy game coming up on Saturday. Iron Warriors versus anybody that shows up. Iron within, brother. Make sure you've got a unit of 10 turret siege terminators and you'll be fine. Tanks are great. Baneblades are better. I agree. A Baneblade is just a bigger tank. I'm not sure the Baneblade is the best variant of the Super Heavy tank. What do we think is the best variant of the Super Heavy tank, guys? If I were to get another Super Heavy tank, and I'm not saying I'm gonna, but if I was, I mean the Shadow Swords. Have you guys seen the stats on the Shadow Sword? Like the Volcano Cannon on the Shadow Sword. Now, for some reason, the Volcano Cannon is only, is it? Yeah, 96-inch range. D3 plus 1 shots, right? So that is 2 to 4 shots. Only 2 to 4 shots. Not a lot of shots. Bear in mind that the Guard hit on 4s. So 2 to 4 shots. If you get 2 shots, you hit him once. But it is strength 24. AP minus 5. Flat 12 damage. That's 1 big gun right there. Josh Allen, best super heavy arm cannon, devastating wounds. Yeah, I mean, a Shadow Sword is a Titan killer. That's exactly lore. What in the lore, that's what the Guard use to take down Titans, demonic engines, things like that. Have they, Blood Buffalo, have they done the MVP yet thing? Is the voting for that over? Has he got it? Doom Hammer, strength 12, minus 4, d6 damage at 24-inch range. Nope, don't want that at 24-inch range. You want a tank shooting from a long way away. Storm Cannon, Storm Sword, d6 plus 6 shots. The Storm Sword's probably the best. I mean, the Storm Lord has transport capacity, and the Bane Sword's pretty good too. The thing about the Bane Blade is it's got the 3d6 shots at strength 12, minus 2, 3 damage. But the Storm Sword has d6 plus 6 shots. So that's 7 to 12 shots. Strength 16 minus 4, d6 plus 2 damage at 48-inch range. I'll take a Storm Sword, please. 2 of them. Thank you. Cool. And then on a 5-up, when the cannon hits a thing, they take D3 mortal wounds, and every unit within 3 inches of it also takes D3 mortal wounds on a 5-up. Storm Sword. If I were to do a second one, it would be a Storm Sword. Would not be nice to see Chaplain Snow back on the field? He died. Did you catch the story time? Did you catch the battle report? He died it. Can you use Bane Blades in Heresy as militia? Hell yeah. Yes, you can. You can use the Storm Lord as Solar Auxilia as well. In fact, you can use Bane Blades. So in the main rulebook for, you can use them as Space Marines. In the main rulebook, there's Fell Blades, Fell Glaives, things like that. But in the Legends choice for Heresy, there are Storm Swords, they're all the plastic kit ones, which you can run as Space Marine tanks, and they hit on 3s. Chaplain Snow is dead. Didn't you see the battle report? I did a whole thing. Unfortunately, the Stormblade is not in this codex. No, the Stormblade is a Solar Auxilia thing. It's a Solar Auxilia thing and a Legends thing. My friend is a full Talan 40k army. Join us in Heresy. That's my, yeah. It would work in, yeah. Basically, you can run a guard in Heresy as militia. It's hard mode. If you're running the militia in Heresy, it's hard mode. So if you do manage to pull him over that way, then you've got to be very gentle with him, because it's militia is hard mode. I'm sure the guys, some of you have watched the ones that I did with James from archerwar.co.uk with his militia. He said, I was chatting to him the other day, he's like had 13 games, 13 games of militia, and he's won 1. But each game has been so much fun. Militia have got so much flavour in Heresy. The book's just, it comes alive. You can feel the novel being written in front of your eyes. Put him in a dreadnought. I could put him in a dreadnought. I did a few things. There's a story time. Check out the story time. Check out the playlists on my YouTube. There's story time videos. There's one, the last one I did, or you can watch the whole 13th thing. But yeah, there were a few battles with snow, and yeah, we move on. We move to the next thing. Heroes die. Suns set. Biscuits break off in tea. Penguins fall over. It's sad, but we move on. Militia in Heresy is so fun. It is, because poor humans die easily. They do. It feels like the book coming to life. You can bring 448 models with militia and not break the rule of 3. Yeah. 448. It's in the Imperial Armor Index online. It's not Legends yet. Okay. He's very sad the Codex eliminated generic guard. This Codex eliminated generic guard. I mean, there's, yeah, Cadians and Kriegs and Talan. No, not Talan. The other ones, Carriages. But you can run your guard in any colours with any armour on and say, yeah, these guys follow the doctrine of Cadia, and they count as Cadians. Or these guys follow the doctrine of Carriages, and they count as Carriages. You can do that in Guard. You're fine. You're allowed to do that. And if they're Games Workshop legal models, you can run them at a GT, at a Games Workshop event, and do that as well. There's no, perfectly fine to do that. What do you mean you don't? Not if you don't put biscuit. Of course you put biscuits in your tea. Biscuits were made for tea. You get your tea, you get your biscuit, you dunk your biscuit in your tea. And that's why hobnobs are the king of biscuits, because you dunk it in and they can absorb a lot of tea. And then and you suck the tea out of the dunked biscuit and you get some of that oaty chocolatey goodness as well. I think tea was I think biscuits came first, clearly, and tea was invented so we had something to dunk them in. You need a high density biscuit like shortbread. Shortbread, you can dunk shortbread in tea. That works. It's not really, it's a bread and it's very short. It's not a biscuit, but they are lovely. I do like Scottish shortbread. The name is merely associated with squad rules. Exactly. Biscuits alongside tea, absolutely. Also, shortbread is ace, absolutely. Hobnobs, good, yes. Thoughts on biscuits and gravy? Right, a couple of thoughts on biscuits and gravy. In America, they have these things called biscuits and gravy. There's two things you need to know. One, they're not biscuits, and two, it's not gravy. Next question. Twix straws. Oh, Twix straws are good. You're like penguins. You bite off one end, you bite off. So you get your penguin and you bite off that bit and you bite off that bit and then you dunk that in your thing and you suck and you could, the first few sucks to get your tea through the penguin is a nightmare. But once you start getting some of that goodness through, then you have to flip it around because the end will break off. And then you start at the other end and you can suck up some of that goody, penguiny goodness in you. And then you suck it. It's good. I'm thinking they're laying the groundwork to release Catachan Kill Team sometime this edition. They're giving Catachan a bunch of support and they remain the... Have you ever tried the not biscuits and not gravy? No, I have not tried the not biscuits and not gravy. I have tried some American foods. Yeah. Britain's conquered the world for spices, not to use them. I know, man. The best thing about UK food is all the food that comes from elsewhere, like a lovely pizza or a lovely Indian takeaway or Chinese takeaway or something like that. I mean, the food quality of food in Britain is dire. You just go anywhere else in the world and sample anything. I mean, America is an exception. You've got the buffalo wings and a few things over there. I mean, American food is pretty bad as well. But generally, I mean, across the pond, just go to anywhere in Europe and try any of their foods from anywhere, anytime, and you realise, wow, it's much, much nicer in France, in Germany, Poland, Spain, Greece, Greek salads, Spanish tapas, French fries and steak. Just their fries and steak is so good because you can't say to the French chef, "Oh, I like medium rare," or "I like rare," or that you'll get it how it comes in France. You get the food how the chef wants to make it. The chef knows what he's doing. Leave him to it. Gorgeous. Germany, all the brats, all the their sausages, amazing. Polish food, amazing. Austrian food with all the cheeses and amazing, and then Greek salads and cleft de and all that, amazing. And here we have cottage pie and steak and kidney. The foods, the British foods that are decent are breakfast, a full British fry breakfast, and Sunday roast. They're good, solid, 8 out of 10s. If I put a roast down in front of you with the proper gravy and the Yorkies and everything, you'd love it. Nice. But apart from that, what have the Romans ever done for us? Barbecue beats sticky wickets or whatever. What? Barbecue beats sticky wickets or whatever. See, Grimdark's got it right. Agreed. Food here is pish. Lived in both. You haven't been to the right places in the US. To be fair, your country is rather large. Belgium, Germany and Holland. The holy trinity of beer. Yep. All this food talk making me hungry. What army would you collect, build or expand for either 40k or Horus Heresy? I've just expanded some stuff for my Necrons for 40k, and I am just about to expand some of the Raven Guard and Emperor's Children for Horus Heresy. I've got a thing next to me here which I can't show you because it hasn't been released yet. So there you go. Hey yourself, Redrich, some good sausage gravy, little crap. Yes, you forgot Ginster's peppered steak slice. I mean, look, this is the thing about British food. Ginster's peppered steak slice is nice, but if your second cousin's aunt's brother was coming over from Italy, you wouldn't like, hey, while you're here, yeah, and they take you to, when you go out there, they take you to a pizzeria down by the sea and the thing, and you have they take you to nice places with nice foods, with the olives and the things and a nice margarita. You have proper food there, with proper weather, with people wearing proper clothes. Here, you wouldn't take them to a Greg's, where Sharon stood in front of you, dressed in her nightgown, ordering a peppered steak pasta. You wouldn't say, here you go, here's some... You wouldn't do that. Well, you might do that and give them the proper English experience. If you lived in Cornwall, you might actually take them out, like St. Ives. There's some nice, proper Cornish pasty shops there. I'd allow that, because a proper Cornish pasty has got some proper herbs and spices in it and can taste really nice. There's a nice place in St. Ives, and I forget what it's called, but their Cornish pasties they do are grand, absolutely grand. Apart from that, what have the Romans ever done for us? Is the unreleased thing infantry or vehicle? I can't talk about it. This is cake country. It's biscuit country. Hey, Sharon is a nice lady. She's not. She's horrible. Hi, Daily Dice. Check out Daily Dice YouTube channel for all your dice and daily needs. And I hope you guys enjoyed the battle report that came out on Sunday with Daily Dice in it. He's a nice fella. His car broke down. Came all the way down from the frozen north. Got a passport. Everything to get down here. He had to read the book so he could pronounce words correctly. And have all his jabs and things like that. So that, and his car broke down. What a nightmare. And it's like, instead of taking like 5 hours, it took him like 7 days or something. It was horrible for him. I feel really bad. It's still in the garage in Swindon. Is it really? Oh, no. Absolute nightmare. Oh, well, I guess you sold it to them now. The sacrifice your car made, huh? Your noble steed. See, you got the passport, you got the injections, you came all the way down, crossed the wall, fought the ice giants, got here, and the car, by the time you were here, your noble steed just died. It's like, I'm not going back up north. Maybe it gave up. I'm not going up north anymore. Northern cars break south of the Midlands. I know, it's the change in air density, absolutely. Sticky toffee pudding hobnobs are gone. I liked chocolate chip hobnobs. I can't find them anymore because you get the chocolate coated hobnobs on top, but the chocolate chip hobnobs, the chocolate to hobnob density in the chocolate chip hobnobs was peak hobnob. Because because you can, like a chocolate coated hobnob on the top layer, you can't eat a whole packet of those hobnobs. Well, you can, but by the end of it, you feel a bit rough. The chocolate chip hobnobs, though, you could have like 5 packets of them. They were good. They were good. They were good. Hobnobs have gone to legends. Yeah, they were good. Are there any more guard questions while we're here, ladies and gentlemen? Any more guard questions? Because I've been banging on for nearly an hour and a half now. Tunnock's caramel wafer for the win. I like every now and then how our chat just devolves into good food, talking about food. I mean, it's one of the best conversations you can have, right? All Lehman Rust list viable? Yes, I would say yes, and all Lehman Rust list is viable. There's like 5 or 6 Lehman Rust variants in there. The average Lehman Rust, like a Demolisher's 200 points, and Battle Cannon Lehman Rust 180 points. So you can bring 10 Lehman Russ with a tank commander, 2 tank commanders. 10 Lehman Russ is definitely a viable list. In fact, I think it would be quite strong. And then 10 Lehman Russ, 2 tank commanders, 4 other tanks. It would be quite strong. Yes. Rogel Dawn tank commander datasheet, please. The Rogel Dawn tank commander datasheet. Rogel Dawn tank commander datasheet. So first up, It's a chunky codex. What are the stats of the Demolisher Cannon? D6 plus 1 shots, AP minus 3 or 4, D6 damage. It depends. So the Demolisher Cannon on the Lehman Rush Demolisher, strength 14 minus 3, D6 damage, D6 plus 1 shots. But on the Baneblade, it's D6 plus 3 shots. But it's strength 14 minus 3, D6 damage. Rogel Dawn Tank Commander. So a Lehman Rush Tank Commander is 210 points. A Rogel Dawn Tank Commander is 275 points. Lehman Rush Tank Commander can shoot on death on a 2-up. And a Rogel Dawn Tank Commander, it can issue 2 orders, just like a lead. So they can both issue 2 orders 12 inches away. And each time it's selected to shoot, you can reroll 1 hit, you can reroll 1 wound, and you can reroll 1 damage. So that's what. So Lehman Rush Tank Commander, Rogel Dawn Tank Commanders, both of them issuing 2 orders up to 12 inches away. Lehman Rush Tank Commander shoots on death at 210 points, and a Rogel Dawn Tank Commander can reroll a hit, a wound, a damage. And it's a Rogel Dawn. It hits on 4s. It's got all the Rogel Dawn stats. So toughness 12 with 18 wounds, as opposed to Lehman Rush, which is toughness 11 with 13 wounds. If I want Shooty Space Marine Army, but mainly infantry, Shooty Space Marine Army, but mainly infantry, you're looking at Eradicators, lots of Eradicators, Suppressors, if it's infantry, and Devastators. Devastators are pretty good. Eradicators are crazy good. Typhon Siege Tank, not in here. Eliminators and Devastators, yeah. I'm only heresy these days. Typhon Siege Tank with last cannons on the side, 235 points, 24-inch range, strength 12, AP 3, brutal 4, Rens on a 4. Are Steel Legion still a thing? Yeah. Steel Legion is still a thing. There, in the lore, there's a bit in here about the Steel Legion. In this bit here, run your Steel Legion, and then you'll say, well, I'm using the Catachan rules for them, or using the Deathcore rules for them, or using the Cadian rules for them, but you can run your Steel Legion as Steel Legion, and then for your infantry squads, counts as, and that's perfectly legal, that's allowed. Eradicators not. That's what I said, Eradicators. Intercessors are interesting. Intercessors are pretty shooty now as well. Intercessors, if they fire everything at the same target, fire a lot of shots. I would be going with Eradicators, Devastators, and Intercessors if you want a shooty thing. And Jumpy Dudes. And the Inceptors are very shooty. Yes. That's how you build a shooty infantry Space Marine list. Hellblasters, overcosted. Yeah, there's room for Hellblasters in the equation with a lieutenant attached to them in particular. Centaur artillery vehicles are something I feel should have gotten plastic kit, but not yet. Couple of gladiators as well. No, he said foot. Foot. Infantry heavy. So gladiators are out of here. Okay, so we've got that, which I can talk about next week. We've got that, which I can talk about next week. So that's next week. That's next week. We've talked about this week. Tomorrow, for Tier 3 channel members, on Winter's Wednesday, Tier 3 channel members get an extra battle report every single Winter's Wednesday, and they help support me. And you're lovely if you are a member or a subscriber. You're lovely. Thank you for your support. Tomorrow, another Horus Heresy battle report. We've got Sevatar of the Night Lords versus Shadrach Medusan and the Iron Hands, a 3,000 point battle report. At the weekend, we got Dark Angels versus Star Shatter Arsenal Necrons, competitive 40k on the Sunday for everyone. And I haven't edited next week's video yet, so I don't know what it is. Eldar Winters. We can pretend it's next week. We all know he has the Eldar Codex. I can't say. Yeah, something in my eye. What else? I think, I'm good. What do you think is the best vehicle tank unit in Xenos faction? The best vehicle tank unit in a Xenos faction? I don't know. There's many. I would go with a mech gun with grot artillery because I like grots. And it can blow up and kill the user. Custom mega cannons. I like them. They're the best. Did you say you were starting a Night Lord's Heresy army? I am, but not yet. Like I said, I'm adding some Necrons to my Necrons. I've got some other bits to add to some of my other bits. I've got a bit to add to my Raven Guard and some bits to add to the Emperor's Children. I've got Fulgrim. It took me 9 months to get Fulgrim because he was not available for 9 months from Games Workshop because Heresy is so popular. Most of the range is out of stock most of the time. So I'm finally adding to the Emperor's Children. So I'll start the Night Lord's Horus Heresy army probably in April. The goal is to get a Night Lord's army done by the end of the year. It's a long, but it's a process. I've got lots of things to listen to. I've got the Eisenhorn Ravener trilogies. I've got them on audio for the first time, even though I've read it about 28 times. So yes, that's this year's project. What's happening with the new Space Marine Army Winters, the one we all suggested? The new Space Marine Army, I've got a chunk of tanks and things to one side, down there. Den of Imagination are currently working on Death Guard Horus Heresy Wave 2. Don't know when I'm getting that yet. When I finally get that, then I will talk to them about doing the Space Marine army that you all talked about. So again, long-term project. You're looking months and months and months away, half a year away, something like that. It's a longer-term project. In the meantime, Emperor's Children leaks all over the place. And if they come out, I'm much more interested in doing the Emperor's Children. Getting Heresy Minis is a struggle from Games Workshop. Yeah, I know. It's amazing how popular that game system is. It's why they're building a whole new factory. Look at section recon element. Okay. Section. Recon element. I'm looking at it. Good evening, Winters. Just joined. You're streaming late. I was saying goodbye, Craig. I was saying goodbye. But I'm not now. Can't wait for it. Yeah, I don't know if I want to know about what the Emperor should. No, I mean the leaks. I mean the leaks that I know are the same as the leaks that you've known. The one that's on the Warhammer community, like the Fulgrim one that they've shown us what Fulgrim's going to look like, and some of the profile pictures and things. Yeah, I know as much as you guys. I don't know any more, but I am excited for Emperor's Children. And Templar, I'm looking at the recon element. Do you think that Custodes may feature in a battle report again soon? Last time I played them was 2nd edition in the mid-90s, and I've just got back on the wagon with Custodes. I don't want to keep you, though. That's a good point. I haven't played with my Custodes forever. I could run them. I'm going to write it down, because I've got a game on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I'm playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I should break out the Custodes at some point. So, do you think Custodes may feature in a battle report again soon? The answer is probably. No, nothing. So I've looked at the recon element. That's it. We're done. We've looked at that. We're done. Ladies and gentlemen, we're done. Thanks for coming. Thanks for stopping by. Okay? And when I say, by the way, they might feature, by the time I actually get to play it and then film it and then edit it and get it up, it could be anywhere from a month to a couple of months away. But yes, I'm thinking about it. Yes. Custodes in Heresy as well could be a thing, but that's easy mode. Right, we're done. Are we done? Are you guys done? You good? Yes, we're good. We're good. Guys, thanks for stopping by.
Okay, I hope they bring another Primarch book for Imperium, not just Chaos Marine. Yes, don't go. I've got. It's late. Look. No brew. I'm all out of brew. I need another brew. See the artwork above it doesn't look at detail compared to the artwork above the recon element doesn't look as detailed compared to the old artwork. Is that it? You wanted me to look at the recon thing because the artwork in the recon thing above it wasn't as detailed as the old. Is that it? I mean, yeah, it's a bit plain. But then you get new artwork in it here and there, which is just quite frankly amazing. So, I mean, and that's old artwork. That's like the 5th edition codex right there, which they mix in with the modern codexes these days. So there's old artwork, there's new artworks. That is from the... Damn it. The crack, yes. What's it called? 8th edition, the pre-8th edition launch. They mix old artwork with new artwork in it all the time. But there's more codexes now, like the old artwork when we're talking about like 5th edition, where that thing comes from. There was 12 factions then. Now there's 24. So, or 22 in total. So yeah, it moves. It just, yeah, where are we? Winters, I'm going to need you to teach me some 10th ed this year for an event this year. Okay. No problem. There might be an event later in the year in September that I'm running. But yeah, I mean, the artwork yeah, there's a lot more of it. There's a lot more stuff. Where are we doing? Okay, we're done. We're good. Thanks for stopping by. I've got to click that one. Is there any more? I've got to go. Winters is going. Got to click that one. Had a great night. Thanks. Yeah, thank you. Thanks for... Oh, and excuse me. I've been watching for 40 minutes. Just found a like. Yes. I just found the live button. Oh, awesome. Guys, that was good. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your support. Thanks for all the questions and things. I hope you enjoyed this Talky Tuesday live stream. I'll catch you next week where I might have a few more things that I can chat to you about. Happy wargaming.